Emails are one of the most common forms of communication nowadays. When you're in college, you write emails to submit your assignments, apply for internships, and even when sending emails to professors abroad. And when you're working, you send 50 to 100 emails every day, either to your bosses, colleagues, or even your clients. But even with emails being so commonly used, we still make a lot of mistakes. Don't you agree? And I think one of the reasons for that is that we use texting language so often when sending chat messages to our friends on Instagram or Facebook that some of it starts reflecting in our emails as well. Or another reason could be that email writing has evolved so much from what we learned in school to how we write email nowadays that there was nobody to fill this gap. So, if you want to learn how to write cover letters for your job applications or professional emails for studying abroad, you can visit my website and register for a free demo to one of my workshops. And now, let's get going. I am Neha Agrawal. I am the founder of Wise Up Communications, and in this video I will share with you 10 mistakes that you should avoid while writing your emails professionally. Towards the end, I will also share with you a wise tip, so do stay with me till the very end. And now, let's begin. The very first mistake that most of us make when writing emails is in addressing the recipient correctly. Sometimes when we don't know who the recipient is on the other side, we end up using dear sir/madam or to whomsoever it may concern. Or worst of all, what some of us do is we choose a gender for them by default. I have received so many emails from students applying for internships with me with the address Dear Sir, and it upsets me so much when I see that. My personal opinion is, if you're not able to do that basic research to find out who is the person you're writing the email to, then you don't deserve to get my reply, Similarly, this is how most people think, whether you're writing to a hiring manager or addressing a client. Therefore, knowing who the person is whom you're addressing your email to is very important. And if possible, try and find out the name of the person. The more personalized your email is, the higher the chances of you receiving a response from them. But if at all you're not able to find that information, you can also go for Dear with job title. So you can write Dear Hiring Manager or Dear Professor. This brings me to my next mistake, again related to addressing the person. So I just told you that it's important to find out the name of the person and address them in your emails. But even when doing that, we end up making a mistake. We either write Mr. Rakesh or Miss Nandini, and that is not correct, especially when you're outside India. It's not a grammatical error per se, but it's more like you're not following the usual customs or norms of email writing. So, there are two ways to rectify this issue. But first, you need to consider your relationship with the person. If you are on a first name basis with the person, you can directly write Dear Rakesh or Dear Nandini. In fact, you can also go for Hi Rakesh or Hello Nandini when you're writing emails to your colleagues. But if you want to be more professional and you don't know the recipient personally, you should write Dear Mr. Rakesh Malhotra or Dear Mr. Malhotra. Both of these combinations are fine. The only wrong combination is Dear Mr. Rakesh. So please remember this next time when you're addressing people in your email. The third mistake that a lot of us make is not having a professional email signature. I have received so many emails from students with only their names. They will write Regards Priya or Regards Priya Gupta, and I have no idea who Priya Gupta is. So, whenever you're sending emails to either hiring managers or to professors, make sure you have a professional email signature as well. And now, what should your email signature include? Well, it should start with your full name, followed by your designation. So if you're working, it should be your job title, and if you're in college, you can write final year student or master's candidate. After that, you should mention your company name or your college name. And below that, if you wish to add your mobile number or LinkedIn profile or any other alternate email ID, you are free to do so. This will give the recipient an idea about who you are and will also give them alternate options to connect with you further. So do include signatures in your emails. common mistake that we make is the use of emojis in emails. Recently, a student shared an email with me that he had sent to a professor abroad, and it consists of this emoji. And I was so shocked to see it. Please don't use emojis in emails, especially if you don't know them personally. I use emojis sometimes in my emails, that too just a smiley face when I am sending emails to my friends or colleagues I have a good relationship with. So be very careful when you're using emojis in emails, as it can offend some people and you might never get a reply from them. The fifth common mistake that we make is in the subject line. A good subject line is such that just by reading it you can understand what the email contains. For marketing emails, the agenda is different. You go for a catchy subject line that makes people click on your email and open them. But we will not get into that and focus only on professional emails. A lot of the times I post internships on LinkedIn and then I ask students to send their resumes to me via email. And what is the kind of email that I get? With the subject line, resume, with no introduction, nothing, and then a PDF attached to it which also says resume. Please don't write such emails and be so lazy. Instead, you can have a more professional subject line saying Digital Marketing Intern, Resume, Ayush Arora. This will give a clear message to the hiring manager what the email contains. After that, you can give some lines of introduction in your email about who you are and why you are interested in this role. And then towards the end, you can say, please find my resume attached. This is a more professional way of communicating with people rather than just writing resume in the subject line. Or say for example you're working and you have rescheduled a meeting. Instead of writing the subject line, meeting rescheduled, you can write app development meeting, reschedule to Friday 6 p.m. This will give a clear understanding to the reader as to what the email contains. And later on, if they want to find your email in the inbox, it's also going to be easy for them. So always include a powerful subject line in your emails. This brings me to my next mistake, which is the attachment name. So many of us send emails with attachment name as resume or report final or report version 3 because we're just so lazy to edit the file name. And when someone downloads these attachments, they are forced to rename them because otherwise they will never be able to track these files. So please don't use such generic attachment names. Say for example you want to send a resume to a hiring manager. You can write resume Varun Jain, software developer. This gives a clear understanding to the hiring manager who you are and which role you're applying to. And later it will be very easy for them to track your resume as well. Or say for example you have to send a report to a client. So you can rename the file as report app development 27 January 2021. This will give a clear understanding to your reader as to what is the report about and also when was it last edited. So filing it will also become very easy. Therefore guys, always rename your attachments before sending them to anybody. Another common mistake that we make is in the body of the email. Sometimes we write emails which are very long and elaborate. And nobody wants to read such long and boring emails nowadays. So instead you should write emails which are concise and to the point. Also, you should make it a habit to use bullet points in your email. They are a very powerful tool. So say for example you have 3 to 4 points that you wish to communicate. So instead of writing long and elaborate sentences, you can do that using bullet points and highlight only the key message. Following this approach will make more people read your emails and you will also be able to put your point across in a more professional manner. The next mistake that we make is not giving a clear call to action at the end of our emails. This is also one of the reasons why we don't receive responses on our emails sometimes. We often close our emails by writing, I look forward to hearing from you. And this puts us in a very passive position and all we can do is sit and wait for their response. And sometimes the readers don't even know what we are looking from them. So instead, you can have a strong call to action at the end of your emails. Say for example, you need feedback on a report urgently. So instead of saying, I look forward to hearing from you, you could probably say, we have a meeting with the team on Friday. Could you please share the feedback on the report with me by tomorrow? Or if you don't have a hard deadline, you can also say, I'm eager to receive your feedback on the report. Similarly, you can have such call to actions for all your emails. This will give a clear understanding to the reader as to what are you looking from them, and will also ensure that you receive more replies on your emails. We can also make a mistake when we are on the receiving end of an email. Sometimes when we receive emails, we don't respond to them, thinking that it's understood that we've read their emails. But what we don't realize is actually that's one of the major reasons for miscommunication. So whenever you receive an email, do respond to it. You can go for a specific reply like, thank you for the report, I will share the feedback with you by tomorrow. Or if you don't want to give a specific reply, that is fine as well. You can write, thank you for the information, we'll revert soon. This will at least let the sender know that yes, you have read their email and you've gotten the information. And now that we are on the topic of replying, please always check whether you need to only reply to the person you're sending the email to, or you need to reply to everybody. Sometimes what happens is that the information is only for the person who's sending your email to, and you click on reply all and then everybody receives the email. Or sometimes the opposite happens, where the message is meant for everybody and you just click on reply. And as a result, what happens that so many people who are in CC get cut out from the email chain. So make sure that you always reply to your emails, and that too to the correct person. Last but not the least, let me share a suggestion with you instead of a mistake. One final thing that you can do to make a strong impact is to close your email with a cheerful greeting. And this is something that my professor at NTU used to do for all his emails, and it used to make us students feel so good that even I adopted this habit. So at the end of your email, close it with a cheerful greeting just before your signature. So say for example, you're writing an email on a Monday morning. You can write, have a wonderful week ahead. Or if it's any other day of the week, you can say, have a wonderful day ahead. Or say for example, you're writing an email on a Friday. You can go for, have a great weekend ahead. A cheerful greeting at the end gives a very positive feeling to the entire email, no matter what the content is. And the reader also feels happy after reading your email. And now for the wise tip. Once you've written your email, please check everything before pressing the send button. So double check whom you're sending the email to, what is the subject line, spelling of the recipient's name, the body text, whether you've used bullet points or not, grammatical errors, your signature, and lastly even the attachments. And when you're sure of everything, only then press the send button. Doing this will help you avoid a lot of mistakes and will also showcase your professional communication skills. So guys, that's all I wanted to share with you today about email writing. If you have any questions about email communication, feel free to leave a comment and I will try and clear your doubts. Also, if you like this video, do hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. It will motivate me that I should make more videos like this. And now, wishing you all the very best for your career ahead.